the fans don't really allow you to be creative. I remember Jimi Hendrix was talking about that. He said that he wanted to play more music than Purple Haze and All Along the Watchtower and the Star Spangled Banner, things that got him really popular. He was like, I'm a musician, I just play what I feel. But when he would go to concerts, people were like, play Purple Haze! You know what I'm saying? They wouldn't let him expand his artistry, and that's what true artists do. They put down where they are at the moment and move on. Episode 38, Mental Health Check-In Day. Mental Health Check-In Day. This is a day where we don't talk about the next thing that you need to do on your music journey. We don't talk about how to get a nice booming kick drum. We don't talk about the next thing that you need to do on stage. This day today is about checking out what's going on in here. How is everybody doing? So often, is unable to join. Max, just let me know when you're getting in there. So often, we just are so busy running the play. Max, I see you, bro. I'm gonna send you an invite. So often we're so busy just running the play that we forget to say, yo, what is going on internally? I'm a human being. I got to know what's going on internally. Right? Sure. Yeah, so today is Soundboard Sunday's Mental Health Check-In Day. Good to and for me was good. Jahan Spivey was good. Queen Fina, what is good? This is Soundboard Sundays, where we bring a rising singer-songwriters and emerging music producers, bring them to the same table. You know, give you guys game and skill and things that you can do to implement in your music journey, again, that will 10x your career. But today, once a month, we stop and we ask, what is good with the actual music producer? So, this Soundboard Sundays, ladies and gentlemen, and folks who are watching this on a replay, you should have been here. Folks who watch this on a replay, it is brought to you by I Am a Music Producer Audio Affirmation System, a system that helps the music producer have the right mindset so that they are not wasting time with limiting beliefs, negative self-talk, so they can get to doing what they're doing best. It's making music, building successful habits, and being able to have the courage to even ask for the bag, let alone let people know that you do music. So the link is in my bio if you want to go ahead and get that system today. Max?
Yes, sir. How you doing? So
Hey.
Yeah, yes. So just to give you guys an idea of just give me a second. Yeah. So the audio today's live is brought to you by my ebook called How to Attract Gigs as an Emerging Artist, a guide to position yourself in a new digital entertainment economy. And that is for any emerging musician who are not only struggling when it comes to attracting gigs, or not necessarily able to understand what are the proper tools they need when it comes to showcasing their talent in front of an audience, or performing properly in front of an audience. Just make sure that you grab that ebook. It's only $49.95. Once you get the ebook, I also included a bonus, which is going to teach you on a few things that you could increase when it comes to your income and whatnot. So there's a bonus specific towards increasing your income, aside from doing gigs or just having music going on. Just tap in with me.
Got you. Excellent. All the things are definitely needed. We want to jump right into this. Guys, you know that we do book bars, again, because leaders are readers, and we'll jump right into that because it is nice and 3:05. So, Max, you want to go with your book bar first? Or, yeah, go for it.
Let's do it. So my book bar is from this book called Profit First from Mr. Mike. I don't want to mess up his last name.
Man, that's a tough last name, bro.
McAlwisk, something like that.
Boy, it's something Russian, German, or Jewish, German, Russian.
And the book part is at the introduction part of the book, page 9 specifically. And towards the end of the page, or towards the third paragraph, he talks about something very interesting from his keynotes. He had a keynote, and he was speaking in front of an audience. And that day, a lady entrepreneur broke down and started crying because her business wasn't doing as well as she thought it would be doing. And that's when he started breaking down the term of profit first and the science behind profit first. And here's what he said. He's like, at Creative Live, after Debbie calmed down a bit, I said, the last 10 years were not wasted. That's when he refers to Debbie, the one who was crying. I understand that you feel that way right now, but it's not true. You needed to experience those years to get you where you are today, here with me, doing this. You needed to reach to a point where enough is enough. To finally change, she needed her enough is enough moment. And we all do. Simple as that. I told myself, specifically this week or the week prior to this week, that I had to calm down my usage of social media. Like, enough is enough. I gotta discipline myself on serious times and know why am I using social media excessively and what is the purpose of what I'm actually gaining out of it. So that's important to always ask ourselves, have I had enough, or enough is enough? And it's time to just change for the better.
Right. Asking yourself, just being honest and transparent, like, and saying, yo, I've had absolutely enough of doing whatever it is that I'm doing. You know, it's like that hitting the rock bottom. You know, people don't really want to change before they hit the rock bottom. And that doesn't even mean just alcohol, y'all. It doesn't even mean just alcohol. It could mean I'm tired of like being broke. I'm tired of just hitting the wall with music production. I'm tired of just like, you know, not putting my album together, you know, for the singer-songwriters, you know, if that's where you are on your music journey. That's right. But you have to get tired and say, that's enough. I'm actually going to do something about it. The profit first model for folks watching, it's Mike, let me see the last name one more time. Mike, it's like McCallowicks, right? Mike McCallowicks. Anyways, the idea, the profit first idea, is absolutely amazing. Don't have a bunch of time. Maybe we'll go over that, Joe, in a Soundboard Sundays one day when we talk about finances, or, you know, getting your house in order. Because if you're thinking about being successful, I want to talk about this. If you're thinking about being successful, then you don't want to jump the gun too far. You know, some people are like, I need to get a website, I need to do all this, that, and the other. Not before I think that you start saying, okay, what am I going to do financially? What do my finances look like? You know, how am I going to fund certain stuff? Because listen, y'all, some of the stuff that we do off the break, selling music, selling, you know, doing gigs, doing concerts, all that stuff is a business. So it's got to go in, like, it's got to operate like a little small mini business. You know, Mike, I was watching his you have beats, what's good? So I was watching the Profit First seminar, right? About a little 2-hour-long seminar. Mike's pretty much breaking down the principles. But he's like, you know, he said this and it was so crucial. He's like, I'm not a real big fan of big businesses, but I love small businesses. But we have to study and operate and study those big businesses, because he's like, the big businesses, yo, were small businesses at one point in time. The big businesses were small businesses at one point in time. The Beyonce was just a young woman, you know what I'm saying, at one point in time. Really studying these people's journeys. You know, Dr. Dre and everybody, you know, all the people, Dr. Dre, 35 Summers been giving people hits and stuff like that. They started off small. Yeah. And so we have to look at ourselves. We might not want to go all the way there and things like that, but we do have to say, what about their journey can I take, and what about their journey can I leave? A lot of the stuff happens to be about that professional side, that business side, that like I just want to do music, right? I just want to do music. Like I don't want to like do anything that's got to be about business or nothing. I don't want to look at no contracts. I just want to do music. Well, there's so many people who are 30, 40 years your senior, who that's all they wanted to do. And if they could go back in time, all they would be is like, yo, I wish I had the time and the patience just to say, let me set the thing up right. If you believe in yourself, it doesn't matter if you're just getting started today. If you believe in yourself, say, I believe that I'm going to be somewhere different and I'm going to set my stuff up correctly. The finances, the skill set, the mindset. Those are pretty much the three avenues that you will have to honestly work on. And yeah, mindset, skill set, and the finances, and knowing how to sell, knowing how to market and stuff like that. But pretty much all of that type of stuff, that's your independent music game right there. It's an amazing book. I'm going to get the Profit First for minority entrepreneurs because one, I want to support a sister. Two, it's a book that Mike McCallowitz has. He's affiliated with it, but it's a book directly towards like minority business owners, pretty much, aka black folk. You know what I'm saying? Because we have a really unique thing. You know what I'm saying? We're a really unique group of people in operating in the Western world, and so I want somebody a little bit more that understands our journey a little bit more. But Profit First is an amazing book. So get either one of those. Anyways, so my book bar was coming from We Should All Be Millionaires again, Rachel Rogers. So it's coming from page 15, and it's just talking about essentially what women say to themselves, like imposter syndrome or whatever it happens to be. But like it's not just women, y'all. It's not just women. As I read this book, I'm like, many men are struggling with these same things. It's just a culture where you got to be a strong man, and strong men don't talk about what's going on the inside. Right? You know what I'm saying? That's not strength. And you don't learn that strength until like later on. When you've developed some sort of disease because you didn't kept every single thing bottled inside, or you're sitting up in jail because you did not process seeing a family member of yours killed, and so you went out, you know what I'm saying, and went to go kill, you know what I'm saying, some people and things like that. And, anyways, digressing from that point, we're not going to get there. Okay. So it talks about, so she says this: don't waste your time beating yourself up if you are guilty of thinking these and other limiting thoughts around money. And I'd say that other limiting thoughts around music production, you know what I'm saying? Am I actually good enough? What happens if I hop on stage for the singer-songwriters and nobody likes my music? What happens if I record a whole album and nobody likes my stuff? Stop that right there. So it says nearly every woman, and I'll say music producer, male or female, and singer-songwriter, male or female, has a shitty story she or he is telling herself about money, or again, like I said, your music production journey. This is not a spectacular or unique failure on your part. However, what would be a failure is not actively working to change these thoughts. That is what I Am a Music Producer is all about. The link is in my bio, but that's what it's all about, is the thought work that is involved. Reframing. You have certain things that you're telling yourself and reframing it, not in a denial sort of way, but acknowledging that you have acknowledging that those thoughts are there. Like, gosh, like my beats absolutely suck. I'm not able to make this thing sound like it's on the radio. No, you don't have to do that. You can choose to need this knowledge. Is it Rasan?
Good question. Rasan. Yeah, I think it's Rasan.
Rasan, yeah, let us know if that's Rasan. Blessings. I appreciate that. We're here to actually help. That's what my prayer was today, to help some folks. Whether it's, again, buying Max's course, buying my audio affirmation system, or just freeing some people's brains right now. You know what I'm saying? So here's the thing. It's quick, dirty thought work. Quick, dirty thought work. Thought work is the act of consciously paying attention to your thoughts and then choosing to entertain different thoughts instead. And I'll give you an example because, again, you got to have an example of this, right? So she says, for example, I thought I used to have all the time, I thought I used to have all the time, wait, what? Oh, a thought I used to have all the time is I look ugly. All throughout the day, every single day, I would tell myself that I was ugly in different ways. I would be getting undressed to get in the shower, look down at my body and think, ugh, look at these ugly stretch marks. She's a woman, she's a mom. So again, stay with me, guys. Look at these ugly stretch marks. You really need to lose weight. Then I would be getting dressed and go into a tailspin about the way I looked in my clothes. I would tell myself, your pants don't fit because all you do is eat cookies all day. Then, guys, we don't even really we don't kind of get bothered by this specifically, you know what I'm saying? But at the same token, we have our other limiting beliefs. You know, again, in your men's circle and stuff like that, I know it because I've been in those circles. We don't talk about these things. We don't talk about these things. It's suck it up. You know what I'm saying, man? Be a man. All these things that nobody actually knows does this work. Nobody actually knows that this works. They're just telling you some more cliche stuff that somebody done told them that it ain't working for them. That older man or older whoever it happens to be, they died with their pain and frustration on the inside. If it's not, it does not work, and we gotta deal with it. We gotta say, yo, this stuff ain't working. Listen. So, thought work begins when you stop believing everything that you think and start asking questions like, what are the facts about this situation? Where did this thought come from? This is very important. How does this thought affect me? Is there a better way to think about this? And I'm going to stop it right there. So when you are saying, yo, my beats absolutely suck, you got to stop and say, yo, what are the absolute facts about this? Have you been producing music? What are the absolute, let me tell you, let me just give you a little strategy. You know what I'm saying? A little small coaching. When you think about that, when you have the confidence, right? That's what my audio affirmations book is all about. When you have the confidence that you need, even if you don't know it, even if you don't know what to do, you're like, I have the confidence to say, okay, I don't know exactly what to do right now. I know what I want to have. I don't know exactly what to do with it, whether it might be a sound shaping or something like that. But I got enough confidence to know I'm gonna go find it.
There you go.
I'm gonna go find it instead of saying, yo, my beats absolutely suck, and like I'm never gonna be doing this, that, and the other. Like, yo, people commit suicide because they are not. They don't realize that they have the power, right? A lot of people don't agree with this, but I gotta, man, be true to me. In the scriptures, it says, the Most High Yah, that's what we call him. The Most High Yah did not give you the spirit of fear, but he gave you the spirit of power, love, and of a sound mind. That means that means that you are sound in your thoughts, meaning that you have control over your thoughts. You are thinking clearly. So if you go with that belief, we weren't necessarily known to be having all these fearful thoughts. So my understanding is that these fearful thoughts aren't even specific to ourselves.
Hey.
A lot of people don't know that the scripture says in Psalm chapter 68 verse 4, it says, "Ye are gods." You're not the Most High, but it does call you a god. It does let you know that you have these godlike powers. Right? And so when we are struggling and dealing with fear, yo, we got to first off say, what are the facts about this situation? Where did this thought come from? And I always tell you, if you are a God, the thought of fear about you not being able to produce something or get the results that that ain't from no high supreme being.
Come on now.
That's from something wicked. And so that is not something that you need to entertain. That's all I'm just trying to say here. What are the facts about this situation? Where did this thought come from? How does this thought affect me? Is there a better way to think about this? And you just run off from there, guys. Again, this is Soundboard Sundays, episode 38. This specific Soundboard Sundays, once a month, every third Sunday, we dedicate a time to ask music producers, how are you doing? How are you doing? Can you put in the chat how you are doing in the chat? You know what I'm saying? Put how you are doing. And it don't really, honestly, it don't even matter if you're doing super great or, you're in a really, really, really low place. You need some help right now. But from a 10 to a 1, right? Where are you mentally today at this specific moment? You know, one being the worst and a 10 being the best. Let us know where you guys are in the chat. You know what I'm saying? Things like that while we keep on going. So me and Max, guys, we watched, and I highly suggest that you guys check this out. Over the weekend, we watched Lil Wayne. You had a 10.
Oh, Rasan.
Rasan said he's at a 10.
Okay, that's what's up.
That's what's up. That's what's up. I love that. I love that energy. Keep saying that you are at that 10. Okay? But don't, man, listen, acknowledge when you're at the 1. Acknowledge when you're at the 5. Acknowledge when you're at the 6. Acknowledge when that 10 goes down to a 7. And say, whoa, I'm usually on 10. I need to practice these clarity things. I need to have this positive self-talk with myself. I need to be in a proper environment so I get back to that 10 because I'm normally good at my 10. Wavy Jr., what's good?
What's happening?
So me and Max, we watched Lil Wayne, and I can't remember the name of the podcast. What was it?
Yeah, it's called Mental Health Doesn't Discriminate.
Mental Health Doesn't Discriminate. And I'm going to let Max talk about that. I also watched Kid Cudi's Pursuit of Happiness. Guys, music producers and singer-songwriters, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. And we're also, you know what I'm saying, we want to have somebody who wants to come on in, you know what I'm saying, and press 1 and just either share your wins, share your losses, share where you are, because this is a safe space, and we're going to, you know, again, get around you, you know, and give you a big virtual hug and things like that. You know, because we want you to know that you're not alone. That's the, you know, that's what is important. So mental health does not discriminate. Lil Wayne, there's so much. I watched the Chief Keef joke today, Max, too. Chief Keef is like doing he was doing like a therapy session on, it was like a noisy, and so he was doing like a therapy session, right? And so it was all about, I'm just checking in who's in the building.
What's happening?
And Nero, my guy, side PCs, what's good? So look, Chief Keef, y'all know Chief Keef, bang, bang, all this, that, and the other. Chirac, when I tell you that we are missing, in our neighborhoods, we're missing like mental health experts. Oh, also, guys, me and Max are not mental health experts. Okay, so we just need to set to say it right there. We're not mental health experts. If you are feeling really, really, really low at this specific time, you need to go seek a mental health expert. And I got to be true to myself. You need to go pray. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You need to go center yourself and talk with your creator. All right? Because there's a time that we didn't have mental health experts. There was a time when before somebody could get their doctorate, their degree, their PhD in mental health, could go through a program before they could get their certification. Somebody had to certify them. The certification had to come somewhere. So what did we have before then? We were connected. We were connected.
That's what
digressing from that point.
Without her.
Yeah, we got to digress from that point. You know what I'm saying? Because some of that stuff be a little bit too heavy. So Chief Keef, he dealt with a lot of different deaths in his life and things like that. Murders, people got murdered. They just talked about the fact that he didn't have his father like in his life, which is very important. The therapist said that when young men and young women do not have the father figure in their life, that has a chain reaction of a lack of respect for authority.
Right.
When you don't have your father, and the therapist said this, so we can get all on whatever it is that we feel like we think that it is. But y'all, I come from a household where my dad wasn't there, and I got sisters, all females. I was the only boy in the household, all women. I seen it. When you don't have that authoritative father in the household, I've seen it. My siblings still struggle with these types of things. This is for the sisters. If you have problem with that, with authority, you know what I'm saying, at your job, got problems with authority. I don't know, again, different people have different cultural for their marriages or their relationships and things like that. But if you got a problem, if you have an issue, a struggle, what do you call it? A power struggle with your significant other, with your husband. It could be because of the things that went on in the household when you were growing up. It's not necessarily your fault. I want people to know that they have the power to change some stuff. You dig what I'm saying? A lot of the time we don't feel like we got the power to change it. So we're like, yo, this is just who I am. I am who I am. I hear that stuff all the time. And you sound weak talking about I am who I am. You sound weak. You sound like you don't actually have the power to change that childhood trauma. The ability to take these things over. You know, man, y'all know that this is a tight subject for me because, we all really go through it, and we mask our stuff. You know what I'm saying? We might be parents, we might be, big tough men and women in our little groups, or we might be really important in somewhere, and we're masking how we actually doing on the inside. We're not all at 10s, like the brother Rasan. We're not all operating at 10%. And when we're not acknowledging that we're not operating at 10%, that's the very first thing. We're gonna do something harmful to somebody. We're gonna mess up somebody else's day. I remember, Max. Max, I want you, Max, to talk about Lil Wayne, because I've been saying this stuff. But I remember you guys just being hurt by a girlfriend one time. Being hurt by a girlfriend and being like, yo, forget this, yo. I'm about to go. And this is what happens, ladies. This is what happens to us guys. And this is what happens, guys, with the ladies who just, you're trying to just be a good guy. What happens is that we usually just got hurt. And we're like, instead of saying, yo, taking some time before we try to jump into something else, either we might rebound without understanding where we are, and so we're going to essentially get into the same relationship again and have the same experience again, or we're going to do something extremely destructive. I took it as my job. Like after this girl hurt my heart, I'm writing poetry and all this type of stuff in like 11 when I was 14, 15 or whatever like that. And she was like, I ain't trying to hear this. I'm trying to see what's up with the niggas who got the cars.
Damn.
I'm trying to see what's up with the folks who got the cars. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to hear no poetry. That stuff hurt my heart. It hurt my heart, so I said, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna hurt other females' hearts. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna hurt other females' hearts. And I started real devious. I started, y'all, by like hurting her heart. Like she broke up with me for a dude. I spent the whole summertime like, how am I gonna get this woman back real quick? Spent the whole summertime doing it. Mind you, I don't have no father, you know what I'm saying, to tell me, yo, this is what ends up happening, bro. I understand what you got going on. You know what I'm saying? It'll be back. You're obviously too young to be kind of focusing on females right now. You should be focusing on business, focusing on your craft, just getting better in that, sinking your stuff in there. So I'm like, how am I gonna get back with her? How am I gonna get back at her? So I said, okay, I know exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm going to get back with her, and I'm going to be emotionally detached the whole way, and then I'm gonna break up with her probably on a Valentine's Day or someday. I'm gonna like really I'm gonna stab her, you know, emotionally, and twist the knife in. And that's exactly what I did.
You have to get very petty.
I had to get petty, bruh. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I ain't gonna lie. Like, again, like R&B was like really popular, like the late 90s, early 2000s. So I'm outside, like, we done had pictures together, all sorts of stuff. So I'm outside, man, burning the pictures, like, you know what I'm saying, sitting on my wall, burning the pictures up. I'm sitting on my wall, burning the pictures up like this some sort of movie or whatever like that. But it really hurt. And I, in turn, was gonna hurt somebody else. So that's just on the love aspect. Imagine somebody killed my homie, you know, for some of the brothers and the sisters who are in that environment. Instead of sitting with that thought and saying, yo, this is how this made me feel. You know what I'm saying? This is how it made me feel. You're almost too immediately going to go out and express, yo, this is how it made me feel. I got to go shoot somebody up. I don't even care. Indiscriminately, I'm going to go shoot somebody up because somebody hurt me and I'm going to hurt somebody else back. That is the danger, right, Max? And right, y'all, that's the danger.
It's that saying, hurt people hurt people.
Hurt people hurt people. You know what I'm saying? I'm not can y'all put in the chat so I don't feel like I'm the only person? Who else has hurt somebody because they have been hurt? Please put a 1 in the chat if you've hurt somebody. So, Max.
Yes, sir.
Let me see if we got any truth tellers out here.
Okay.
Anybody telling the truth out here?
I'm going to take the lead. One. Yo, this sounds...
Sugar Vision was good. Yo, this sounds like y'all need to jump on my podcast. That's official.
All right.
That side piece is in the nail. You got it 100%. Rasan said that they've hurt somebody. Yes. This stuff is real. This stuff is real life. You know what I'm saying? So that hurt and pain, it doesn't really matter where it happens. Again, y'all, I remember being 13 years. I still remember this, being 12 years old, sitting on the stairs of my mama's house, sitting on the stairs. My dad told me he was coming that day, and my dad didn't show up that day. You know, I've since, man, moved on, since forgiving him for a lot of that type of stuff. But I still remember what that does to like a little 12-year-old boy. That's all that we honestly, I can't speak for everybody else, but little so-called black boys in the Western world, of Canada, the Caribbean, America, we be needing our dads around. We be needing like our like men. I ain't just talking about adult males, but like men who hug you. You know what I'm saying? Men who still give you a kiss on the cheek or something like that. Don't even matter what age you are. Men who will be firm with you. We got generations of males who missed out on that, and they got with the women, and they created more generations of males who missed out on that. We have to stop and say and think before we're about to do what it is that we're about to do, and say, yo, hold up, wait a minute. Why am I thinking like this? Let me sit with my thoughts before I go do something, before I go react. So, Max, tell me about Lil Wayne real quick. Because y'all got to hear this. Y'all got to hear this.
That was an interesting interview.
Jeezy Music, what's good?
Yes. How's it going, Jeezy? I think
the hate that hate made. God Nero said that, yes.
Man.
Yes.
I'm going to have to ask you the person's last name. I think his first name was Emmanuel, the one who did the interview with Lil Wayne. Emmanuel, anywho, but
his first name was Emmanuel. I can't remember his last name. Perfect. But if you just look up Lil Wayne mental health episode, it's only about 20 minutes or so. I highly suggest people go and check that thing out.
Exactly. Mental Health Doesn't Discriminate, featuring Lil Wayne. That's the title. Big bro,
Mupase, what's good?
So there's 2 takeaways from that interview, which is fantastic. Number 1, I wrote that realizing you have an issue, whether it's a mental health issue or any type of issue related to mental health, right? And the second part was the issue does not disappear. It transfers onto a new stage of your life. So I'm gonna break down points. First point, when I say realizing that you have a mental health issue, is you know, when he talked about the radical thoughts he had at 12, he was probably 12 years, yeah, 12 years old. And those same thoughts kept on, those radical thoughts pushed him to eventually create some self-harm, to hurt himself, like physically really bad, where he shot himself.
Like with a gun.
Yeah.
With a gun. Yeah.
So right at the point when you have those radical thoughts, it's very important to have a certain audit, telling yourself, okay, why am I thinking a certain way? What is causing me to think that way? Right? Whenever those thoughts keep popping up, ask yourself, am I in the right environment? Is the environment influencing me to think that way?
Right.
What am I doing to control these thoughts? Am I being present enough? What am I tuning into? Because whatever you tune into, you eventually turn into. That's very important. Just whatever you tune into, you turn into.
There you go.
Gotcha. The radical part, the radical thoughts part, made me understand how he did a lot of self-evaluation, and he had to really check himself in the mirror until, well, a good thing he did it at the time he shot himself, because he was able to kill his old self, the way I said, kill his old self. So by shooting himself while looking himself in the mirror, he basically killed his old self. That's why the relationship he had with his mother right before he shot himself completely changed the day he shot himself, because she no longer viewed him the same way, and she no longer diminished his dream the same way, and that really evolved, and that created a new Lil Wayne, and that was very powerful.
Yeah, I want everybody to say, you know, again, have you all done that? You know what I'm saying? Have we really killed ourselves, killed our old man? You know, as the scripture says, died to the flesh. You know what I'm saying? Have we actually absolutely done that and say, yo, I got to kill all that old stuff that I had? Because I don't know, not one person, I have not come across one person who has not dealt with some sort of childhood trauma. You know, I was just talking to Max yesterday, and I said, all the stuff that I've been through, guys, and this is for real. You know what I'm saying? A real moment. All the stuff that I've been through, the most difficult time to date was to tell my daughter that her grandmother, this is 2 years ago, tell my daughter that her grandmother had passed away. The day of it. You know, that was some of the hardest stuff that that was the hardest thing I've ever had to do, because I got to tell my little baby girl, you know what I'm saying, you know, 9-year-old, yeah, somebody's gone, and you're never going to see this person again. And they don't understand that. They're not as old as we are. They haven't lost, you know, we've lost a lot of people, you know what I'm saying? Probably over 30 people, over 30, 40 people or whatever like that, you know, whether it be just family members to age or people in the streets, people that I knew, you know what I'm saying? Not even people that I knew, people graduating out of folks out of high school were having heart attacks, you know what I'm saying? Because you still got niggas on the football team still eating like it's the football team. Jeez. 5 years after high school. You know what I'm saying? But these are people that you know. You know? This is, you got to look at your own mortality and say, dang, like this is going to happen. Not this can, but this is going to happen to me. So that was really, really, really tough to do. But y'all, what I saw is, and again, you know, I said that this is between us, right? But this is on social media, right? But between us, y'all, it was real difficult, because from that specific point to later on, I saw how my daughter, I heard Chief Keef today, and he was like, you know, he began to learn how to laugh at pain. It's a way to, it's a coping mechanism. So instead of crying, he was like, you know, I just laugh at that stuff. You know what I'm saying? You know, damn, cuz got killed, you stupid. You know what I'm saying? I be seeing how people be on social media when somebody dies or whatever like that. They be like, damn, bitch. You know what I'm saying? That's fucked up. You know what I'm saying? That you died, so on and so forth. And I'm like, no. I'm like, we are really, really, what we're trying to do is cope with it. We're trying to put emotional band-aids over. We're trying to be as tough as we possibly can be. And that is sick. Telling you right now, that is sick. So my daughter, guys, my daughter now has a way where when something sad kind of would go on, I would notice that when something sad kind of going on, she kind of like laugh. And she's like, you know, like, this is like, you know, this is, but I saw her deal with the mourning of her grandmother. I saw her deal with that. I saw her like understand it in her little 9-10-year-old mind. That's some hard stuff to do. I'm trying to tell you all. That's some hard stuff to do. Telling your baby, your children, somebody's gone. Folks know about it when you got to tell, you know, again, your spouse might have passed away or something like that. I cannot even imagine, y'all, Kobe Bryant's wife having to tell the rest of having to deal with her husband gone, her children gone, and then the children's father, you know, the remaining siblings are gone. We can't just deal with things in life and expect to just move on. That's what mental health check-in day is about. Yeah, we got knowledge, and we're, you know, me and Max, we're experts in fields and stuff like that, but it doesn't matter if we give you all the keys to the game and you do well in your first year, and you're like, we're like, yeah, these were like, you know, students and clients of ours, so on and so forth, and 2 years later, 3 years later, you kill yourself. That's going to weigh on everybody's conscience. Telling you, that's going to weigh on everybody's conscience. Max, don't forget that. Folks in the audience, don't forget that.
That's real.
The mental health is so important to the game. That's why we just want to see where everybody's at today. See what your wins are. See how you're doing today. I was going to talk about. I mean, it's getting a little bit late. I wanted to talk about Kid Cudi.
Oh, yeah, I think you could do that.
I wanted to talk about Kid Cudi really quickly because Kid Cudi represents a famous musician, singer-songwriter, recording artist, and producer. Musician, singer-songwriter, recording artist, and producer. All right? Every single thing that covered for this demographic who we're talking about, Kid Cudi has covered that. Now, let me just give you some really quick little points. Kid Cudi started doing music at 15. All right? He started doing the open mic. So again, if you're just getting started, right? If you're just getting started, this is exactly what you need to be doing. You need to start going to them open mics. You need to have that confidence, have that courage, get that program that Max has got in the link in his bio so that you know how to track those gigs, you know, right? But start going to the open mics.
Yep.
So he was from Ohio, so he felt like it's all just in his neighborhood. All it is just, you know, like probably just rap music or whatever like that inside his demographic. But he started to feel like he was boxed in, like he wanted to do other stuff. Like he wanted to listen to other music. He wanted to do other stuff. But it was just like everybody around him, his environment was like, man, yo, what is that? What is like, you know, Red Hot Chili Peppers? What is like, you know, Blink 182? What is, you know, Slipknot? What are these people? You know what I'm saying? You know, what is this stuff? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't turn this stuff off, man, turn this off, man. I've had homies, I know y'all know what I'm talking about. Some of y'all brothers and sisters who like to listen to eclectic music, and you got your friends, yo, what is this? Like none of my friends, I used to blast in DC, I used to bump Sizzla Selassie hard as a mug, but my DC friends were like, yo, man, if you don't turn off this Jamaican music, bro, what are you doing, bro? I was like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. This is my music. Anyways, it's about that environment, though, right? So that environment, he needed to leave outside of that environment. He went to New York City to leave out of that environment, linked up with his like first producer, who was producing music and things like that. He stayed with the music producer. They met organically, and that's when he dropped Day and Night. Him and this brother, I apologize, I can't remember the brother's name, but if anybody knows the brother's name, please put that junk in the put in the chat if anybody knows. It's a brother with dread with locks, who was Kid Cudi's like first producer. So what he ends up doing is he links up with the producer from Brooklyn.
Right.
Before that, he starts listening to alternative music, right? So all those bands and things like that I was talking about, this is how you get a Kid Cudi. And I ain't saying that everybody got to run the Kid Cudi route, but I do highly suggest that if your main, whatever your main bit of music is that you listen to, whether it is rap, whether it is R&B, whether it is alternative, whether it is, even country, even soul, reggae, Afro pop, Afrobeat, listen to some music in completely different genres. Because I promise you, y'all, it's the same 12 notes. But you will be inspired about what somebody else in a completely different genre did with those 12 notes.
Come on.
All right. Hey, and now we're gonna come live with you in a little bit. Give me about 4 more minutes. 4 more minutes. We're gonna go live. We're gonna have E come on live, and then we gotta wrap this up so we're off by 4. So Brooklyn, then he puts out Day and Night on MySpace. MySpace, y'all. Anybody remember MySpace? Again, you got to be old enough. He puts out Day and Night on MySpace. He's just like, oh, that's the craziest thing he said, y'all. He said, I was not focused in it. I didn't want to put out an album. I wanted just to focus on one song. Laser focus. One song. Laser focus, one song. That's what got it. And so he put, instead of putting, 70%, 80% of energy into 5 different songs from an EP, that's what you think that you need to do.
Right.
Put that stuff into one song, 100% into one song, right? All right. I got to go fast, man. I got to go fast. I hope you all are getting this thing. So he said, produce Day and Night, but we're still working. Oh, right. So Day and Night's already on the radio. It's already doing stuff. It's already playing. Shout out to New York, because New York will play, more radio than DC can kind of be just kind of wild and things like that with the local music. Only 89.3 in a specific radio segment. That's listener supported radio. Only they have that type of stuff in DC, and college radio. I really love college radio. You know what I'm saying, too, wherever college radio happens to be. Shout out to the college radio DJs. So he's like, him and the DJ, they're like working. The DJ's the music producer is at his job working security. Here, and Day and Night comes on the radio, and his buddy's like, yo, that's your bumper. He's like, yo, that's my song. The dude's like, that ain't your song, bro. How that's your song and you sitting here working with me at the security thing? I'm working on a single right now. That's a bet. When are you releasing that single? Put that thing down in the chat and let people hold you responsible, Rasan.
Yes, sir.
So that's the other thing, is that you cannot be, listen, you got to plant that seed and keep on going. Plant that seed and keep going to the next thing. Okay? Plant the seed and keep doing whatever it is that you're doing, because that seed has to grow. I've been talking about this all week, guys. As a farmer or a gardener, you have to plant the seed, and then you have to practice the action of patience. Plant the seed, and then there's something that you can't do for about 14 days, and sometimes 30 days, sometimes it's 60 days. The verb is called waiting, but you can't be waiting idly. You got to keep doing stuff. Anyways, sidebar. So, let's see here. Right. So anyway, so Kid Cudi, he rises all the way up, you know what I'm saying, to some fame. Some notes that I got from this: inspiration comes from collaboration. Inspiration comes from collaboration. That was enough. That was a note right there. So success and money only heighten your internal sadness. They only heighten your internal sadness or your internal joy. You see people who are, I can't think of another word, but like dicks, you know what I'm saying? With money, when they got the money, they were already like that.
Exactly. You just amplify.
Y'all know, It just amplifies it. September. I'm gonna need that September. What day on September?
Yeah, we need
what day? Put that day in the chat, bro. That's fourth quarter work, right? In the fourth quarter.
Yeah, right around.
No, that's third quarter. That's still third quarter. September is still third quarter.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's 3 months and a quarter. So put that thing down in the chat, bro. All right. So to cope with so Kid Cudi was again scared and intimidated by the stage. That's why I was talking about the other day, y'all, is that being on the stage was really hard work. All right, I'm gonna skip over all my notes because I said I'm be a man of my word. So here was one of the biggest gems from that. This therapist is talking about because he's talking about how Kid Cudi going through depression, and this is Mental Health Day. People going through depression. She said this. Please put a pin down, or Max, put this in the chat. Right. She said, most people, again, who's dealing with depression, again, it's where it happens, or you're dealing with these negative thoughts. You think that you're by yourself. First off, feeling lost is okay. Mm-hmm. No one has their purpose figured out 100% all the way. That's 100%. I know what my purpose is, but it took me a minute not knowing what my purpose is. I know where that place is. You know what I'm saying? Because you start questioning every single thing. You start questioning your manhood and all sorts of stuff. But everybody don't know what their purpose is, and you can fulfill a purpose, and then you got another purpose until you're gone up out of this world. Anyways, no one has their whole purpose, should I say, figured out. You can use the time of feeling lost and reframe it to saying you're exploring. Shh, don't tell nobody. You don't even got to tell nobody that you're lost. Right? Music producer, singer-songwriters. You know, you've been showing up here, showing up there, and things like that. People are enjoying. They're just looking for more music. Yo, fans can be amazing, but they can also be a drag.
Yep.
Too. You know what I'm saying? This is just between us in our safe space. They can also be a drag too, because they don't necessarily recognize how much. If you're a real artist, and that's another thing, is I'm talking about real artists. Y'all some real artists. I'm talking about real artists. That's who I like to work with. That's who I like as clients. That's who I like to work with. Clients, whatever, coaching, work with in music production, helping artists. I like to work with real artists, people who put their heart and soul out on in the record. You just man, like, yo, this another bag for me to come up. I don't care about that. Let somebody else get that bag. Somebody else go ahead and get that bag.
That's temporary.
Mm-hmm. Exploring, I like that. Just say, I'm exploring. Listen, reframe it to I'm exploring, but you gotta say that to the group. Oh, that's what I'm saying. They don't where they're at the moment and move on. So last thing, and then Anero, side PCs, we're gonna bring you on real quick. A lot of healing. Let me put Anero in the queue. Make sure that you are Anero, can you put a request to go live with us real quickly? We'll go live for a few minutes. So she said this: a lot of healing is changing your perception. Please write this down. Write this down right now. A lot of healing is changing your perception. A lot of the work towards recovery, again, recovering, folks who are dealing with depression, suicide, whatever, this, that, and the other. When you want to come, you don't kill yourself, obviously. A lot of the work towards that recovery is changing your perception of what you're experiencing. Changing your perception of what you're experiencing and knowing, underline this part right here, that you can feel lost with other people.
That's deep.
You can feel lost with other people. And so the last little parts is that Kid Cudi, so many people were like, yo, Kid Cudi, you saved my life. You saved my life in the comments on Twitter and things like that. Yeah. He needed that. You know what I'm saying? I'm just looking at this like, this guy passed me, this white guy. He looked like Don Draper. It was really like weird. All right, hold on one second. Don Draper from Mad Men. Anyways, So now come on in the room while we end this thing. So he saw that his music was inspired people. It saved people's lives. People were crying at his stuff. That's what you want your music to do. Mm-hmm. People who I bang with, people whose music I listen to. I want your music to be something that, again, people want to play at a barbecue. I want your music to be something that people want to make babies to. Mm. I want your music to be the music that somebody's dealing with a really, really, really low time, and they cry and they let out their energy, and your music is coaching them. Just your music alone is coaching them through that path of hard times. I've had to have that happen, and I love those musicians for that music. Anyways, Kid Cudi no longer wants to be recognized as the person who's making that really deep, dark music, although it was necessary. It was where he was at. Yep. He understands that he said this. He has a gift, and that gift was given to him by the Most High, and he's got a responsibility to do something positive with that gift. And on that, guys, turn over to my guy, Anero. Side piece season, what's going down, bro?
What's up, man? You too? So, Matty and Max, I've been on, I'm not always on these, but I've been on, it's not my first live that I caught y'all doing. But yes, I jumped on here, I pretty much always mention mental health stuff on my podcast because, I'm talking about relationships, and relationships usually, there's something in your past, whether it be remote to childhood or something, just your last relationship, like you said, that's making you act a certain way in the relationship that you're in at the moment. So, I mean,
Anero, real quick. Hold on real quick. Can you tell folks what Side Piece Season is real quickly, and then keep going, and then get back to that?
Yeah.
So people know what you're talking about. Yeah.
So Side Piece Season is my podcast. It's about relationships. I'm talking about all relationships. So I'm going to hit you up because a lot of people, they only want to talk about marriage or dating or whatever, and the positive aspects only. And my interest is to talk about all aspects of it. Side piece season. I've done a side piece thing when I was single. I was a side piece, or I had a side piece. Then I got married. Towards the end of the marriage, I had this emotional affair with this other woman. So basically, I was a side piece thing. And then when I got divorced, I got into another relationship where I knew I was a side dude. So I've done that. My dad had 65 million women. I mean, just ridiculous. So kind of it's a running theme that was never really addressed or explained to me or looked at in any sort of meaningful way. Like you were talking about, Matty, with the music. It's never really, it's only sensationalized. It's boiled down to very, very simple black and white terms. And it's like, man, there's so many layers to everything that we do. I don't know. I just felt like people were getting a disservice. I know I felt like I was not served well by my elders and my peer group and all that stuff because the things that they presented to me did not help me, did not illuminate any information for me or any of that stuff. So Side Piece Season is my attempt to shine a different light on relationships, not like demonizing anything, just saying, hey, why are you doing this? Why do you think this works for you? What are you hiding from? What are you running away from? Like, what do you want the relationship to be? Are you looking for that person to complete you? Because that's not going to happen. Just different things. So it's my take on relationships. And I like to bring in a lot of science when I can, brain science, hormones, whatever. And then, I'm just trying to make it, I feel like relationships, everybody has relationships. Right. So, even though my target audience is really like me at 18, I feel like it's for anybody that's going to be in a relationship. So that everybody.
Bro, let me tell you, E, right there. You say you at 18. It's crazy, bro, because like people seem like we were like, didn't it seem like, I don't know, it seemed like back in the day that the 30-year-old was like, think about when you were like 12 and you saw the 30-year-old. The 30-year-old seemed like some older grown person. Yeah. And now it's like 30-year-old, kind of 18-year-old, kind of 45-year-old sometimes. Kind of ends up, like everybody's kind of meshed in this same like sort of mental behavior purgatory. Not everybody, but like the main, and so everybody's just kind of like, you know, like all this 45 is the new 20. I'm like, yo, why 45 can't be 45? You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't mean that you're old. It just, like, where is the eldership? Where is the responsibility to give back?
Well, Matty, there's one thing I got to say about that for sure. I said something on one of my earlier podcasts, and somebody reached out to me, and they were like, I'm 42, and I never heard this.
Right.
I mean, it's just a gap. Like, that's why I feel like there's just, people aren't. Matty, you want to put out good information. You want to help people, which I'm going to give you real props real quick because I don't know what your time is like. But I really just wanted to jump on here and just think, like, I wasn't even in a dark place. Nothing was wrong. But this last week, you reached out to me. You gave me some pointers about the podcast. You gave me some information, like a lot of information, like for people that he didn't just like write me a quick DM that said, hey, do this, this, and this. Peace out. He detailed, here's one thing you should look at. It sounds like this. It looks like this. Here's a reference for you to watch. Da-da-da-da. He just downloaded a bunch of information to help me. First, he gave me props. He said I had a radio voice. Whatever. I'll take it. I'll take it.
Good, man. Yeah.
And then he gave me information to like, from his wheelhouse, from the things that he does to up the level of the product that I'm putting out. That really was appreciated, heartfelt appreciation, and thanks for that. And that was dope. And he didn't get nothing from that. He just was like, oh, yo, E, you need to do this, this, and this, and it'll take you from an 8 to a 10, bro. Peace. Dope. Dope, dope, dope. And I couldn't get on here and say anything without, first of all, thanking you privately, I already thanked you, but privately and publicly thanking you for that, because that's the kind of thing, you know, there's enough for all of us. And if we all work together and we all contribute to what other people are doing and share, like a high tide can raise all the boats. And it don't take nothing from, for him, I don't think he could fully appreciate the magnitude of how that felt, how that made me feel. That's the ultimate encouragement. And also like, man, he gave me some game too. Like that changed my day. I was already having a good day. It went to great, just like that. And that's
amazing, man.
That's just
that's
boom,
amazing,
boom, boom.
man.
Here's some pointers, bro. Peace. We could do that for each other. We could do that for each other all the time. And it's not magic. It can't fix everything like you guys were talking about before. Sometimes you need to talk to a professional. And I wasn't even in a bad space. But the point was, he made a positive impact on my life just like that. To him, it was probably nothing. Or just, not that it was nothing, but he didn't really appreciate or know how big that would be for me.
Oh, E.
Kept mashing.
I knew how big it was gonna be. That was about $200, $300 worth of consultation and things like that. Okay. I knew how big it was gonna be. And I was like, random act of kindness, though. You know, again, none of these types of things go out void.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? And things like that. And the thing is like, when I don't have the time, because you know I'm in the music production coaching space and things like that. I'm in the consultation space. I don't have time to chime in with every single person, but that's the thing, guys, is that when you are doing your stuff and really like putting a plow to the soil, people will see that and say, yo, let me go ahead, man, you know, and give you some of this expertise that normally does cost money. Let me just gift you with $300. Mm-hmm. Let me gift you with $200. You know, in terms of value. I was hoping that it did that, but see, here's the thing: is that if you ran the play, and that's what it is. That's what coaching is to get you somewhere faster. Mm. You understand what I'm saying? Somebody who's actually dedicated on doing it. We don't understand it, and I didn't understand coaching probably until over this whole year. That's why I got coaching, but I didn't understand coaching, and I'm like, I understand it. Like the frustration, the money I could be missing. Yeah. The struggles with confidence, what it's actually doing to my family. I'm bringing my frustration and all that type of stuff into my family and stuff like that. If you have some coaching, some direction, you resolve so many things. So that's the value of that. The $300,000 the $300 worth of value should, I always like to say like 10% or something. So it should amount to $3,000 of something.
Right.
You know what I'm saying, or whatever like that. So, I'm just hoping that like your program is upload, it's uplifted and things like that. But you were saying something before I talked about before I asked you about the side piece season part. You were headed right into somewhere. Do you remember what you were saying right before I said, hey, talk about the side piece season?
I totally don't, but I do know
Max?
that.
Yeah.
You were applauding us.
Max?
Well, yeah, you were applauding us, and well, you gave a few positive points of what you saw in today's episode, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Well, so I know I definitely like talking about from the mental aspect of it. Like that's something that I'm gonna go ahead and say in all of our culture. I know Max, you're up there in Canada, but I mean, I feel like the black culture is the black culture because you're probably from your parents are probably from the Caribbean, like mine, if you in Canada, or maybe they're from Africa. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
Oh, yeah,
But-
from Africa. Yeah.
But it's going to be the same. It's going to be the same thing because that immigrant mode is the same no matter where you are and all that stuff. And
matter.
there's this big thing back on what you were talking about, Matty, from when you were younger and the chick broke your heart and all that stuff. Like without guidance and all that stuff, and without somebody that can point the way and like kind of like mentor you in life and in those areas, you tend to make it up as you go along. You tend to like base it on whatever media you can consume, whatever your friends are saying. And if they're in the same, if they have a lack of knowledge like you're not going to necessarily do the most constructive things. And and so it would be nice if you had good mentorship that you could turn to, whoever that would be. But sometimes it needs to be therapy. And there's like a big stigma about it. Like, oh, don't be so soft. And it's like, if you don't know the way, acting out in unproductive and unhealthy ways is not the right move. It doesn't make you that makes you stupid instead of soft. I'd rather not being soft. Feeling your emotions does not make you soft. It makes you human. So we gotta like deprogram that whole mentality of if you can't figure it out, if you can't do it on your own. I mean, that back to what you were saying, this is circling back to what you just said about mentorship. Yeah. Get somebody that's been there, done that, and knows the ways and can understand exactly where you are and what pitfall you're about to face. And they can be like, you can jump down in there with them alligators if you want, but if you walk that way for a little bit and then go left, you'll be fine.
Right. That's why I'm I believe that I would love for there to have been like, in my brain, like there's an eldership, there's a community where younger brothers could go, there's rites of passage. We obviously know that that's not what's kind of going on in America right now. But also, like when you do reach out to therapy, I don't know. When you do reach out to therapy, I'm a big fan of, like, again, you got to have somebody who's a professional and who knows your culture.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. I'm like, everybody can't just have every single person, because if you don't know what that is, you know what I'm saying? If you don't know what that is, if you don't know what, like, I don't know, just pick something out of like Black American culture or whatever like that, or Congolese culture or Caribbean culture. You know what I'm saying? If you don't know what that is, then you're going to miss that person, and you cannot just go to any single person. But therapy, Anero, is coaching, essentially. Right. You know what I'm saying? It's coaching you, you know what I'm saying? Like, it really is just like coaching you to a place where you actually want to be, actually finding out what that is, and then getting you and walking you through there.
The GPS system.
Yeah.
GPS.
The therapy thing too, and the piece that I think no matter what the culture, I mean, people think that you could just pick a therapist and it'll work or it won't. And like you said, who are you going to take? Like, for you to take advice and direct somebody, you have to have a connection, and you have to feel like they understand you and can help you, right? That's why there's so many therapists. That's why there's so many self-help people out there, because you have to get somebody to actually click with.
Yeah.
If they're not talking your language at all, you know, you might not be able to have that bond, and they might not be able to help you. You just might not be receptive to the information. They might not know how to convey it. I mean, there's 1,000 ways to say everything, right? And you need somebody that can say it the way that you need to hear it.
Right. You gotta talk. You said it right there. You gotta have somebody who can say it the way you need to hear it. Also, to that point, E, is that men have got to be more, and women though too. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the time I'm talking to our demographic, you know, I'm talking to some of the brothers and sisters who kind of grew up in, you know, in, I guess, like lower income and even more so than that. I mean, people just, we were not able to talk about our feelings like how I grew up with, like, you know, black and white folks. You know what I'm saying? And so the conversation that my white friends are having with their family is, you know, the father's like, well, how are you doing today, Chad? Yeah. You know, how was your day today, Chad? And Chad's wilding out a little bit, but Chad's also on some riddling, and Chad's also doing, Chad's got a therapist. Yep. You know, or whatever like that, so on and so forth. But listen, y'all, sometimes we can't not even afford the therapy. Right. In general. You know what I'm saying, for our demographic. So it's just like, man, like what do we do if we can't even afford? We're sitting here having this conversation because we seem like three intelligent brothers, you know, most likely people going to school or things like that. But you got like I looked at Chief Keef again, growing up in the hoods, neighborhoods of Chicago. It wasn't until he made money, moved, and then Noisy, this documentary series company or whatever like that, Noisy decided to, like, I guess, broadcast him getting therapy with a brother. It was a brother, it was an older brother. But I'm like, look at all the things that had to be in place. Like, he had to be a successful musician. Right. He had to not get killed in the streets of Chicago. He had to move. He had to then become popular enough in white space that Noisy wants to make a documentary from him so that it's profitable to them because people are going to tune in, to then have him get therapy and for him to uncover all that pain and stuff like that from growing up without a father, from seeing best friends and brothers and sisters murdered in the streets, having to become this tough guy. So I'm like, yo, sometimes we got to do it. We just have to, like, go talk to some folk. You know what I'm saying? Older women, older men. Yeah.
I think, though, that, Matty, though, one of the things, you know, that speaks to two things. The gap of elders, which, I mean, I'm 51. I would consider myself, like, at this point, it's like, wow, okay, I blew up a marriage and I learned some things. You know, it took all that for that. Now, like, my mission is to make sure that other people, like, get down productively in relationships, right? Right. Like, that's my mission. So I'm in there, but there's the gap of that elder leadership where they just would be mentors and resources to the younger people to, like, kind of guide them around, or at least give them the opportunity to sidestep some of the same mistakes that we made. Your own personal mistakes are the best learning thing. Next to that, somebody else's, right? So exactly, there's that, and then we don't necessarily think about it in that communal term of, like, all right, this happened to me. My job now is to make sure that if there's anybody else I can help to not have this happen to them, that I do that, right? It's like, it's a mission now. Like, you don't get that information just to hoard it. Exactly. No, you don't. Information to pass it along so that everybody benefits from it. Like, I don't know. It's definitely like that piece. Those two pieces are missing, right? The people that have the information, because people are just, you know, some people are just not. I hate this term, but they're not woke, right? They haven't experienced something and learned something that is vital to life, right? Like real life, like whether it be, they haven't sat with it, business, personal, you know, whatever it is, they haven't really ever done it. They're just on autopilot, going through their life day to day, doing their thing. So there's that gap of elders, to use your word. And then even if there were these, because there's people that have gone through things and they've learned some things, but they don't necessarily think, like, you know what, now that I know this, why did I learn this? Why did I learn this when I learned it? I learned it because introspection. Do something with it. Whether it, like, and you don't have to do, like, you could just write a book and put it out there and, like, whoever finds it, finds it. I mean, you don't have to go chasing people down and be like, hey, listen to this. But you need to, that information that you got, you know, when I was in the military, we see this all the time. It used to bug me out. So you spend 20 years in the military. You learn all this stuff. You learn all these tricks. You learn all these shortcuts. You learn all, not necessarily shortcuts. You know all the ways that it really will work as opposed to the way that somebody thinks it will work. And then when you hit your 20 years or whenever you get out, all that information goes with you, just disappears. And now the next person's got to start from scratch. Like if there was a way that you could just pass that, like, here's the book. Right. Here's the book from Sergeant Mara. And then they'd be like, oh, okay, we're gonna have you have to do this. I mean, it would make everything so much better. I saw it in the military, I see it at the hospital, and I see it in regular everyday life. Like people have this information, they're not passing it along. And what's getting passed along is like such sensational, like trash. Really.
Trauma is getting passed along. Some getting passed along.
Yeah, but no answers, you know? So
answers.
I think that's the, you know, whatever the therapy looks like, it's not always going to be a therapist. It's not always going to be a professional, but it's going to be somebody that genuinely has learned some things and is interested in having you not suffer.
Right. Let me ask everybody in the audience today, are there breaches that need to be fixed in your generation, right? In your bloodline? And put a 1 in the chat if today you are going to change your generation's bloodline. Put a 1 in the chat if today you're going to change your generation's bloodline. I got to put a 1 in the chat myself.
Definitely.
Put a 1 in the chat if you are going to make a change for your generation's bloodline today. All right, that is exactly. We can no longer have all this. Like it's almost like a man. Shoot, that I had to learn the hard way, so they got to learn the hard way too. Like this is like why? You know what I'm saying? Like why does somebody have to do that? That doesn't really actually help us. Here Santana said he's changing the bloodline. Rasan said he's changing the bloodline.
That's it.
I like that. What'd you say? You said it's a what? Patrick, what's good? You said it's what, E? And then we're gonna have to go because I'm looking at the time right now.
Yeah.
But say that last part, bro.
I'm just saying that's like to go with what Napalm said. That's life mission right there. If you have this information, it's not doing anybody any good. And if your mentality is that you're not gonna give the information to somebody else, that's because you're operating on a scarcity mindset. There's only enough for, like, I got it and that's all. And the world is a big place and it ain't no reason to have scarcity mindset. There's enough for all of us.
That's easy.
Bro, that is directly related to our what we were taught, our demographic here. Like 100% is directly related to what we were given. Comes from almost like from field to cities in the 60s to all the way up to now. And I've seen it. It's what they don't show y'all is all the white on white crime. Because I'm down in North Carolina, and there's some poor white folks down here in different areas, and they are definitely shooting each other. I ain't never seen more white people in prison in my entire life than when I came down to the South. They go to prison down here. You know what I'm saying? But here's my thing: is that there was so much trauma that kind of happened to us throughout. So this stuff has been by design that we're like, yo, no, I gotta have my own thing. You know what I'm saying? You in the ghettos in the hood, you got like what 700 people in a I was about to call them tenement housing. They don't have it in a project building, right? And you give them like one corner store, and let's just say it snows outside or whatever like that. Everybody got to get fed by that one corner store. Somebody's gonna murder somebody. And that's going to cause some trauma to somebody else. And then they're going to murder somebody else or do something to somebody else. So some of these things are definitely designed. And like you said, too, E, is that, you know, it doesn't always have to be a licensed therapist. Listen, I think I went to therapy like way back in the day when I was like a little kid or whatever. You know, especially when my parents got divorced, because that is always heavy. I'm telling folks right now, not to say that people have to stay together for the kids,
Right.
but you gotta know that stuff is going to have an impact on the children. 100%. Ain't no way to slice it. It's going to have an impact on the children. So, but again, like, people have got to be solid in their faith. People have got to be solid in talking to older people. Because I didn't have a father, I always look to get game from older men. And what I realized, like you said, E, is that not every older man know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Not every older man knows what he's talking about, y'all. So I literally, man, trying to, oh, maybe that guy know what he's talking about, so let me go do that. Oh, no, that guy was completely wrong. Oh, maybe that guy. Nah, you know, no, it doesn't. So good brothers, whatever your ethnicity happens to be, whether it happens to be so-called black, so-called white, so-called Hispanic, so-called Asian, whatever, like, talk with some other folks.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? But for our real big homies gave me some footsteps. Napalm, appreciate you, bro. Today is the day. Today is the day. We have our days when we're like, yo, you know what? That was a good word. So many times when I used to go to church, people say, man, that was a good word, Pastor. That was a good word. And we have no actual like steps and say that we're actually going to change and do something. If you have a breach in your bloodline, because most likely everybody, we ain't in no caste system. Everybody came from some sort of greatness. I'm talking to the so-called black brothers and sisters. The majority of us have breaches in our bloodline that we need to fix. The fix ain't money. Ain't just money, excuse me. The fix ain't just money. So, you know what I'm saying? With that, E, I appreciate you, man, coming on, man. We got to, we out here, man, just having a good, real moment. Guys, I appreciate you. Let people know where they can listen to side. Oh, they can go to your link in your bio?
I got the Sounder link in the bio, but it's up on iTunes and Spotify. So I feel like there's a couple other places too, but those are the two biggest places. But you can go to the sounder.fm and the link's in my bio. So those are the easiest ways to get there.
And that side piece for the folks who watch it on the replay, that's SIDEPIECE _ the word season. Side pieces. Go check out that brother's podcast. Again, he's putting in the work, doing the work, All right, my guy. Bless you, man, for coming through, bro.
Listen, but while we're on here, since we're all like live and we have the audio and all that stuff, I'm figuring out exactly what I'm going to use for my links.
Yeah.
And then, we're going to have to figure out something to get all you guys, both of you two, on my podcast.
That sounds good. That sounds good.
All right.
That sounds good. My guy, man. Blessings, bro.
All right, man. Take care, gentlemen. Have a great day.
Thank you.
You too.
Appreciate it.
All right, guys. We're winding it down. This episode of Soundboard Sundays Live Mental Health Check-In has been brought to you by I Am a Music Producer, audio affirmation system, a system that I put together so that music producers can be confident in their work, confident in their skill set, confident in their minds, so that they can achieve their dreams, so that they can go ask for that sale. Charge what the value of their music is. All right, you can click that in the link in my bio. Max, let them know about what your offer, please.
Brought to you by my ebook called How to Attract Gigs as an Emerging Artist, a guide to position yourself in a new digital entertainment economy. And it teaches emerging musicians how to attract gigs, how to position themselves in front of the right audience in order to get the right gigs and to learn how to perform better. And if you feel like, well, it's specific for those who are struggling with gigs. So if you feel like it's your concern to attract more gigs, or even become that artist that performs in front of an audience and get paid, tap it with me. And it's only at $49.95. On top of that, you get a bonus that teaches you a few steps on how to earn more income aside from making music off money or even gigs. And it's worth it. It's worth the gift. $49.95.
Yes.
Tap in, click the link in the bio, and you'll get more information.
Excellent. Okay, guys. And so next Sunday we should probably be having a guest.
Yes.
To teach some games and some gems on something specialized. I mean, we've got some folks in the queue talking about reels. We've got some folks in the queue about like how to get your lighting. We've got how to get your lighting for when you're recording, when you're doing like YouTube videos. Because trust and believe, like everybody, all artists, music producers should be on YouTube. And you have a YouTube as long as you got a Gmail. So again, got that. We've got some folks. Let us know. Underneath this video, just put a comment. You know what I'm saying, underneath this video, when it gets reposted, put a comment in the actual comment section of this video about what it is that you guys would like to, get a little small master clash, you know what I'm saying, or whether is it some Facebook marketing, you know what I'm saying, some of those things, because we've got a really wealth of folks that we've partnered with and that we work with to again serve the upcoming singer-songwriters, music producers, so just let us know in the comments, and we thoroughly appreciate you guys for joining us today. I cannot tell you how much of a blessing it is just to be with you guys today. And just again talk about this type of stuff. This is good therapy for me because we're able to be honest. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's not an expert in something, but you're an expert in something. Everybody's not an expert in everything, but you're an expert in something. And I want you to, remember that. Go run the play. Go fix some breaches today, family breaches. It's a great day, all right? Max, see you next Sunday, bro.
Appreciate it.